Hey everyone, welcome to yet another video. In this video, it's going to be actual IELTS writing questions from the 9th of April 2022, and this is going to be for the academic and the GT tests. So let's jump right into the topic of writing task 1 first. This was a pie chart that had three different categories: consumption, production and profit distribution among different players. So consumption among 4 regions of the world, production among 4 countries, profit distribution among 4 entities. So it makes sense for you to put them separately in 3 body paragraphs, and in the overview you can include that you can include the split of blue with the other 3. So the blue portion here corresponds to Europe, and you will say that Europe had 41%, whilst the rest of the 3 nearly contributed to half of the consumption. Similarly, 44% of the production came from South Africa, whereas the other 3 nearly contributed to the half. Right, similarly with the profit distribution. So this, I think, is sufficient for the overview paragraph. Now in your body paragraphs, sentences will also be structured in the same way. So you can put Europe and America together in one sentence and put the other 2 in the second sentence. Here as well, you can talk about 44% in the first sentence, and these 3 sins are nearly have the same proportion. You will put them in the second sentence. Here it makes sense for you to add all the 3 again in the second sentence and talk about the 51% in the first sentence. So these things indicate that you're able to compare information wherever relevant. Now in this case, the reporting the main features part is not relevant because you will have to indicate all these percentages. Maybe they're indicating that your overview paragraph has to be solid. So if you can think of any other way apart from the way that I said, and also you can, if you feel that you can add more information, you can let me know in the comments. Let's move ahead now to writing task 1 of the GT test. On to the GT question. So it talked about a school trip that the school was arranging for volunteers, and you're supposed to write to the school administration consisting of the following pointers: your introduction showing reasons why you're willing and what experience you have. So when you introduce yourself, you will have to talk a little bit about the class you're studying, the subjects you've taken up, and maybe a little bit about your career goal, and that will also become a good preview to what the reasons are for you going on this trip. Say you're visiting an old age home, let's say you're visiting to empower women, let's say you're visiting another school containing small kids who need to be educated, whatever. So let's say this cause is close to your heart and why. So include that in the second bullet point. The question says reasons, so it's good if you give more than one reason. And then the third bullet point says relevant experience. You can also say that you've been going on these volunteering trips for a while now and you don't want to miss this. And I'm sure that you've seen me earlier and maybe this is my volunteer ID or something, and then say what you've learned, what you've done in these experiences that you've gained. That will be a good end to your letter. But remember, your answer has to be specific to the volunteering opportunity and also to your experience. So don't make it all about what you're studying, what your teachers talk about you, or anything related to school and you. Make it all about the volunteering opportunity and you. Okay, that's the intersection that they want to see, right? And also your tone has to be extremely polite because you're requesting this person to take you on in this trip. Moving ahead to the task 2 question, and that came in the morning slot. This was a question: traffic and housing problems in huge cities can be solved by moving large factories, companies and employees to the countryside. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Now it's easier for you if you just stick to one side by either saying you agree or you disagree. Okay, in this case, it's easier for us to defend the point that we disagree to this. We don't want all of these problems to occur in the countryside as well, and we don't want to remove the charm of the countryside, right? That's our natural instinct always. So it's good if you just disagree and put that in your introduction and mention 2 reasons as to why you disagree in BP1 and BP2. Okay, so maybe BP1 can be all about nature, about spoiling the beauty of the countryside. It could be that. And also here, it could be compromising agriculture, compromising farming related jobs in the countryside, because that farming is major in the slightly less economic development, less economically developed areas, right? So think about examples, think about what will happen to farming lands and how the produce will get affected. Pick an example and maybe give like how the crop will get affected by all of these coming into the countryside. And here, think about what has to go away from the countryside if they have to establish this. It's simple. They'll have to remove trees and everything, right? And your conclusion also should have the two reasons that you mentioned here. That's it about today's video then. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and if you have questions about the structure or anything, you can put them on the comments of this video. There's also a link to join a WhatsApp group where you get alerts to our free masterclasses. The link is there in the video description, and also if you want to be coached by me, helped in the writing area, you can express your interest by filling up an admissions form, and we'll reach out to you and explain our paid coaching programs. I'll see you guys in another video. Until then, make sure you're practicing and you're consistent. Bye bye.